Police in the French port of Calais are accused of abusing migrants on a routine basis. Human Rights Watch claim it's, quote, like living in hell for those asylum seekers there. The rights groups say that pepper spray is being used on migrants in circumstances when they pose no threat. Police are also accused of confiscating sleeping bags and clothing from the migrants while disrupting access to humanitarian aid. The town's authorities say they don't want a return of the infamous refugee camp known as the Jungle, which was, of course, dismantled in huge publicity last year.
We don't want the jungle to reappear. We don't want people to arrive and stay here. That's why we've added to the 6 police squadrons who are already here 2 new squadrons in order to prevent the influx we've seen over the past few weeks from continuing to grow.
To compound those fears, migrants are still arriving in Calais. Human Rights Watch say over 400 are now there, with other estimates as high as 600 people. About a half of them are unaccompanied children. Police are warning that the growing numbers could lead to a repeat of the violence the town saw earlier. While the migrants say they feel abandoned by the authorities, the police admit, though, they are struggling to cope.
I spent my 6 months in Calais jungle. There the government came and they say to all the people, you stay in France, government will give you paper, then you work here and maybe build your life. Then we separate in all of France, and after now we are in the streets. There are no facilities for us.
We have about 600 migrants here now, and we're expecting more. There's a zero-tolerance policy towards the settling of migrants and the reconstruction of the jungle. The mission of the police is clear. Migrants must be prevented from sleeping in certain areas and from forming groups. There's more and more tension, including between the migrants themselves. We also have difficulties with the far left, which tries to promote a world without borders and without police. They are particularly nervous about the actions of the police. They try to film and attack us. That creates tensions. Now that we have more work to do, we've asked for reinforcements and have received them from the Interior Ministry. Our job is not at all easy. It's difficult to stop migrants from gathering in certain places.
Meanwhile, reports of dire conditions are coming from a migrant camp in northeast France. Charlotte Dubensky's been there.
Alcohol, violence and reports of rape. That's the reality in this migrant camp that's been dubbed a humanitarian slum here in Metz.
There is a problem with alcohol and violence. Even as an aid worker, I face problems. They don't have food, but they manage to get hold of alcohol. We don't know how to handle the situation. There is not enough security for the number of people here.
The camp has been dismantled several times, but every time it's taken down, new people come and the camp is reformed. Locals from Metz are concerned about its impact.
This problem has to be addressed quickly, for their sake as well as for us. They are suffering.
The city of Metz was not prepared for the camp. The authorities emptied it, but now there are 700 refugees back there again. It's becoming a second Calais.
We return to the camp after dark. En route, our taxi driver tells us about some of the problems.
There are a lot of home break-ins, a lot of aggression. They snatch women's handbags, but no one talks about that on TV. The migrants are everywhere in Metz.
At the camp, we find out migrants are apparently facing aggression as well from a certain community within the camp.
Really?
There are problems? Why?
Yeah, no problem. Drink.
Fight?
Yes. They take your money, yeah?
As we speak with another man, we're told to stop filming by security guards.
People here are hiding from those who are looking for them in their own countries. If you show their faces on TV, you're putting their lives at risk. We don't want journalists here.
Despite the worsening conditions and other issues both in and out of the camp, more people continue to arrive. Charlotte Dubinsky, RT, Metz.